All right, here we are with the Onnit podcast. Very special podcast today with two individuals that I personally am super pumped to have here in the studio. Really excited to welcome to the team. Steven, Twitch boss, you may know him from So You Think You Can Dance fame, along with Allison Holker, also from So You Think You Can Dance fame. A little more original. I mean, she came first.
Yeah,
she was the first one there. She was the pioneer.
She was the original. You know?
You guys are really aging me with that.
She was the original, you know. But
everybody else just kind of following in her footsteps after that.
Great, guys. I'm the eldest of the group.
Unlikely, I think.
Yeah, right.
I think I got you both on that category there. But a real pleasure to have you in here, and man, let's have some fun. We certainly had a good time last night. And let me tell you a little bit about these guys. And you know, for me, I've been a fan of the show and a fan of dance in general, which is, you know, unusually it's not something that's that popular to say, which is weird amongst like the kind of alpha male crowd. You know, it's like, yeah, dance, like, yeah, kind of, you know.
Yeah, right.
But for me, man, I've always loved it. And I love it in both, you know, the club setting and a traditional setting and a native setting. And it's just, I think it's something that's part of our birthright as humans.
Absolutely.
You know, and I really feel like it doesn't quite get its proper place now. Like somewhere along the lines, something got screwed up and dance became not as cool as it should be.
Exactly.
You know. So how did it come? How did you guys get into it from your different backgrounds? If you each want to tell your own story of how you guys came to dance.
Yeah, well, actually, growing up, I was actually quite a tomboy. I was really into soccer and wrestling with my brothers. So I grew up like that, and then I had an older sister that was a dancer, and I never thought it was cool though. So I was like, oh, she's like, you know, little prissy fairy dancer, you know. And I was about 11 years old, and I saw her getting ready to go to Europe with a professional choreographer named Mia Michaels. And so I went
from the show as well.
Yeah, she's from So You Think You Can Dance as well. And my sister was a part of her original company. And so I went to go watch them rehearsing one day, and it like changed my attitude on dance completely. Because it was like this really aggressive, like animalistic, like athlete dancing that I had never seen before. So ever since then, I knew that I wanted to be a dancer and inspire people through dance. So I didn't know where it was going to take me. I didn't know if I was going to be on TV or if I was going to be on Broadway, or I didn't really know what my path was going to be, but I just wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it well and really change people's lives, like how my sister changed mine.
So that's an interesting point right there. At right when you saw it, you not only knew you wanted to do it, but you knew that you wanted to do it and be seen and, you know, really make an impact.
Yeah.
What do you think was different about you? And actually, a lot of people may kind of think that, but you actually lived it. You like saw that vision and you made it happen. What are some of the things that you've used, and why do you think you've been able to translate that childhood dream into actuality?
Well, actually, both Steven and I are really big into goal writing. And so I write daily goals, weekly goals, and yearly goals, and I commit to those goals. And I feel like since a young age, I've been really drilled that from my parents. So I feel like I was very lucky that they like told me if I'm going to do something, I'd do it the best and I'd be the best at it. And it's not a cocky thing. It's just I'm going to do what I do well.
Well, you got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe that you're going to do it, you don't stand a chance.
Exactly. So I think really honestly, it's the goal writing and the commitment that I've always given my dance.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you? What's your story, Steven?
Honestly, dance is it's always been something that I've really loved to do. And I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, so I didn't get started in dance until much later, because kind of how you were talking about, it's not the alpha male thing to do.
Right. It's football, it's basketball,
and especially
boxing.
to dance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like football. So you know, football is like a religion in Alabama.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Roll Tide.
So exactly, Roll Tide. And see, you know, you got the right religion.
Yeah.
Good. But so you know, my parents and my grandparents, they tried me out in all these different sports. You know, I was always active, but like very in tune and active. It didn't really happen for me.
You just realized you would score a touchdown and your dance was better than your touchdown.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Like I was mad limber somehow. You know, I could do the spin moves crazy. But or in baseball, I would be looking forward to running more than actually hitting the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, it's one of those things where I needed to be active. And the other sports, they just didn't really do it for me. But dance always did. Dance was the thing that always got me hyped. Like,
so with your background though, it must have been just straight up street dance, kind of taught yourself.
Yeah.
When was the point you started getting like education on it? Was it the show, or did it come before that?
It was before the show. I started dancing, taking it seriously my senior year of high school. I was cast in a musical, The Wiz, because I was dabbling in theater already, and I found out where the other dancers in the cast, where they were taking class, and I was like, "Oh, you can take class for this?" Like, like, you know, there's stuff you can learn. There's schools for this. Okay, so then I joined a dance studio, and then from there, I heard about the dance team tryout. So I tried out for dance team. Then they took me to this camp, this summer camp, and I was like, "Man, this is crazy." And it just kind of snowballed effect from there. You know, I was like, "Okay, well, if I'm gonna do this, I need to take it seriously." So then I started taking ballet and taking jazz, taking modern, and then I transferred to Southern California to go to college, to university. I went to Chapman University, and that's where I was broken down. I had to wear tights and things like that, you know what I'm saying? But it really opened my mind to quite a bit. So that's when I got serious about it, was in 12th grade. But I feel like I've always been a dancer above all. I've always been a dancer. Talent shows, dancing. Yeah. In my room, dancing. You know what I mean? It's always been. It's always been.
Just a part of you. And I really do believe that it's a part of so many more people, you know, and they're just repressing that natural instinct to go out there and dance. And so is that part of the message that you guys try to give people through dance is, you know, hey, just do it. You know?
I feel like why people connect so much with dancers and they love watching it on TV or in movies is because in reality, everyone at some point in their life is dancing, and it's a way to express yourself and just enjoy your time. Like, people dance at weddings, people dance at clubs, people dance in their closets. Anytime you hear the radio, you're somehow like moving with the music.
For sure.
So it's like everyone connects with it and everyone appreciates dance because they all want to do it. Everyone wants to dance. Come on, we're the coolest.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's just one of the highest forms of expression. When you get happy, you dance. You know what I mean? Whether it be dancing to like the rhythm of music or like jumping around and waving your hands.
We saw some of that last night.
Oh, actually. Yeah, we were celebrating quite a bit last night.
You know,
Some of this.
One of the things that I've always found and believed is that when you actually reach a level of mastery, you don't have to play the master. You actually are. And the difference is, you know, for you guys, I've been with a lot of dancers, you know, and I'm putting quotes on it because they're trying to be dancers, you know, but whenever they're out, they're putting on the act of dancer. So everything is a little mini performance, you know, no matter what it is. It's like there's cameras somewhere, there's a spotlight somewhere. I mean, the hands are in the air, fully extended. Like, what are you doing? We're just dancing. Like, we're in our room. Like, stop it. You're being silly here. But, you know, for you guys, we went out and had some fun just dancing around in an empty club, just lasers in space.
Exactly.
That's what we found.
We filled the space with our energy, though.
But what was cool about it to watch you guys, occasionally you guys did some ridiculous stuff, and me and Whitney were just looking like, damn, that was impressive. But some of the time you're just jumping around like any other individual, you know, just enjoying the music. And I think that's, you know, that's important. When you actually are that good, you don't need to pretend. You don't need to put on a show for the 5 people in there.
Exactly.
Anything like that. You could just feel the music like we all do.
Absolutely, it's natural, man. It's a good time, and that's also something we like to teach in our classes too. Is just that, you know, don't be afraid to feel it by any means. You know what I mean? I feel like because we teach kids almost every weekend, and you know, there are some age groups that you know that age group when you become extremly self-aware of yourself and like a little self-conscious about trying new things and stuff like that. And
sometimes that age group never leaves.
It never leaves, actually.
Sticks with people forever.
Exactly. But we try to teach her to push past that and don't be afraid to try new things. A lot of things that she says, she has a great message with her class of just realizing how, trying to get the kids to realize how special they are no matter what, you know what I'm saying? And it's all about really going in there and giving your all, so that it's, and doing that through dance is honestly one of the most rewarding things that you can do, really.
I feel like it's really hard for this generation coming up because of technology, which is so fantastic, but they're really changing how they live their lives. I feel like every child I see is living their lives through Instagram. They're always posed, like you were saying about dancers, that we're always like trying to pose for like some camera that's there. That's how everyone is, I feel like, in this new generation. I feel like all the girls always hold themselves as if someone's taking an Instagram photo about to post it. I'm like, no one's taking a picture of you. Stop it. Just loosen up. You know what I mean? And so I feel like That's what I really try to teach his
They're
kids.
taking the mirror shot
Selfie.
from the side angle,
Like perch
sucking in and sticking out in every way they can, you know.
But it's
and
like,
guys
it's
too,
always-
guys with their shirt. It's so funny. You'll see people with their like icons, their Facebook icons,
yeah.
their avatar, and some of them will just put their favorite body part on there.
Absolutely,
You know,
yeah,
like
of course.
one ab.
One ab, yeah. Or like the
But they
right
lift it
side
like
of the
this.
abs.
They're like lifting their shirt like just another day.
Yeah,
It's like, what do you mean that no one just does that? What is that?
So it's like the double back bicep flex,
Absolutely.
and they got a big old gut in the front, but from the back, they
From the
look
back,
like, they
though, I'm
look like
swole.
Arnold.
I'm swole.
You catch me from the back, dog. I'm swole as shit. Yeah, it's so fun. It's so funny when people say, but that's a good point. People are very self-conscious. It's as if they feel that someone is watching them all the time. And you know, as a society, we are pretty voyeuristic. I mean, look at these popular shows. Look at all these.
man.
I mean, there's a Housewives in every damn city.
Exactly,
now.
man. Exactly.
And, you know,
And the more train wreck, the better. The more successful it is. It's like now reality television. You don't actually get to see too many inspirational things on reality TV. When I feel like that's what everybody's that's the reality that everybody's actually looking for is to be inspired and
Sure.
And to see good things. But the things that are prospering is honey boo boos.
You're right.
You
Well,
know what I mean?
and your show, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's one of the bright spots for
Right,
me in
totally.
television is that, you know, sometimes you're just entertained, but sometimes you'll see a routine, and you guys have both been a part of those. You're like, holy shit,
Right,
you know,
right.
like you feel something, you move along a journey as you're watching that, and that's what's I think all the fans love, and that's what you know I love about it too. Is sometimes you'll just lock in. Sometimes you watch it with a smile and whatever, but sometimes you're like, holy shit,
absolutely,
holy shit,
oh yeah,
they were on it, they locked in. So what's that feeling? Can you guys feel it when you like hit a zone and you know you're just in the current of the motion?
I feel like when we step out like to the So You Can Dance stage, like I usually don't even see that there's an audience, which we're in very different categories. So for me, I'm always in the emotional pieces that like for some reason I'm either dying or I'm being stomped on or like my boyfriend killed me or he hates me or something. There's always very traumatic stories for me.
Yeah. Right.
So I have to be really, really connected with that character. So when I walk on the stage, I've already pretty much meditated the whole day, like really zoned in on what I want people to feel from me, and also looked into like my own life of like my experiences, and I try to connect it with my character.
It's almost method dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I walk onto that stage, I don't see anybody. I'm so connected with my partner that it's only about us in this moment. And there just happen to be cameras there, which is great, but it's about what we're going to bring to the table. What are we going to feel together? How are you going to look at me? Because I'm going to look back at you in a certain way. You know, so whatever my character is,
It's a communication.
It's a communication through our like bodies, you know, but I don't even see the audience. As much as I love them and I love our fans, it's for me, I know that the only way they're going to feel me is if I'm with my partner and it's only
Sure.
about us.
Well, and that's the case with any top level athlete. You know, you can interview a guy fighting in an MMA title fight. They don't hear shit.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
there is the cage. They're lucky if they hear their corner.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
just because
Yeah.
that voice has been trained into their head to hear it, but they're just locked in, and you'll see it. You'll see it in their eyes. You know,
Yeah.
you'll see it from the walkout. You know, the scariest people. It's this look of like they're just alive. Like every fiber is just tingling and they're ready to go.
absolutely.
The guys that are coming out like, yeah,
Putting it on, putting it on. They're putting it on. Exactly.
Exactly. They're playing the tough guy.
Exactly.
They're playing the fighter.
If you're really truly committed to whatever your activity is, there's almost like a heat, like rubbing off of your body, like coming off of you that like no one can come through and touch you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like this like out of body experience that you're literally having inside yourself, which is I don't know how if you've ever
totally.
experienced it, but I feel like that's the best way to describe it. Is like I feel like my body is bigger than it. It
Right.
really is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's starting to get into some spiritual topics, which is one of my favorite topics to get into, but not for the Onnit podcast.
no.
We'll bring
Okay.
that out.
All right.
We'll bring that out in the Warrior Poet podcast
Nice.
maybe a little later. But
Dope.
yeah, no, absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. And for me, I think it's a matter of, you know, mind, body, and the other. Whatever your vocabulary is going to permit, your higher self, your spirit, whatever you want. Everybody has vocab for what they want to call that.
Exactly.
But that's when that becomes smack and present and you're unified with all aspects of yourself. And
Yeah.
and you can see it. So are there times, do you feel like you're so well trained now, you guys, that you can just lock into that at pretty much any time? Or are there other times where it just comes? Like a basketball player in the zone some nights and just playing good other nights?
Honestly, I feel like I feel like we can kind of dial in at any time. I mean, of course, there are some moments. I feel like there are some moments when you do have those nights, kind of like I just did really well tonight, rather than like, yeah, I was completely zoning and I was there.
Right.
But I feel like the zone is so much more accessible now because there's been so much practice and there's been so much communication with it that you know exactly where it is. And for me, and I mean, it could be different for us too, is because I'm more of a freestyler. So it's like, for me to get in the zone and the circle can happen like this, and it could depend on, it could be a song, or it could be somebody else that I think is really good that's going, and I'm like, oh, I got to get in real quick. I got to get in. It's so there are a lot of different initiating factors that, and I think that's a really good thing too. Is what comes with a lot of training is you find a lot of different triggers to get you there, rather than one way. You use a little bit of everything in your environment to add to that, if that makes any sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. So you're talking about training. Let's get into that a little bit. So what is the training that kind of goes in to these performances that you have? I know, for the show in particular and for any kind of performance, just walk us through your training, your diet, what you kind of do for yourselves as athletes and professionals.
Well, as far as training goes, I know that we rehearse a lot of our numbers into the ground. So we'll go into a studio space with a choreographer if we're doing a duet, it's about a minute and a half for So You Think You Can Dance. So the choreographer takes us in for about 3 hours one day, and then we're given that whole night with our partners to go over it some more if we think we need it. Then the next day it's another 3 hours, and then the next day we tech on the stage and then we perform it. So in reality, we don't have that much time with our partners or the choreographers. We have like a couple days to figure it out. But besides that routine, we have to go and get studio space and train our bodies and just pretty much dance around for like four 4 hours sometimes.
So a lot of your training comes from actually doing.
Yes.
Comes from the dance itself.
Yeah. We take a lot of dance class. Like I still go train at studios. But then on top of that, we go to the gym a lot, and like we'll work out in the mornings. I'll run for a little bit and I'll lift weights. And that's on top of a day that might be 8 hours of rehearsing.
Because dancing combines, I think one of the things that people like so much, it combines so many elements of athleticism. Cardio, strength, flexibility, balance.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing missing maybe is like the hand-eye coordination of a golfer or something like that.
Right.
But even still, even the connections of the hands, and you can't be missing that shit. You miss one of those, and
it could be
game over.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's it is literally it's a full body workout in every aspect of the phrase. But yeah, it takes a lot, but also what we find challenging too, and this is something we talk about a lot too, is because during those times when we're in the thick of practicing, rehearsing, and really exercising and in the zone, the nutrition part is the hardest part for me personally, and I think for us, we talk about it a lot because we have to remind each other to eat and to drink water and things like that, because when you're there, 5 to 6 hours in, and you're finally grasping it and going, okay, like this is what it's going to be. We got it.
Yeah.
On the 6th hour, you're like, wow, I'm hungry. I'm hungry and thirsty because I haven't eaten since breakfast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those type things. So it's those are the challenges that you have to remind yourself as an artist and an athlete, that you have to keep contributing to your body so you can keep going hard.
For
But
sure.
we do eat very healthy though.
Yeah.
We're both dairy free, wheat free, soy free,
Good stuff.
oil free.
Oil free? What are you talking about? I think you just crossed in the realm of nonsense right there. Oil free.
We use grapeseed oil.
The grapeseed oils are good.
See?
Yeah,
See?
you don't
You
want to be
know what I
oil
mean?
I'm
free.
saying we don't be at the, we don't
mess yourself up.
we ain't on the Crisco. We ain't on the Crisco though, Aubrey.
All right.
The Crisco.
Yeah, you got to get your good oils in, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are important things. I think we've been working a lot with Mike Dolce, who's one of the top nutritionists for the UFC fighters, and that's another sport that just requires people to be at the very edge of their performance level.
Exactly.
I mean, cardio to the nines, strength, balance, flexibility, all those same things that you guys go through. I think there's a lot of parallels. You're actually going to do an MMA movie.
Yeah,
Is that right?
It's a I'm playing a boxer. So and it's new because I've never boxed or done any kind of fight training before or really fought because I'm not, I'm a lover.
No
he is a lover.
Easy
now. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
No dance battles just got ugly.
You
serve someone up.
Definitely, of course. But then I'm so but there's a difference between like throwing those wild punches and actually learning like technical. Because when I'm mad and you get heated, of course you think you can fight. Like you know what I'm saying. You try to swing with all your might and it's
hope
just
for the best.
And just hope for the best. Yeah, it's like I don't know what's gonna happen, but if I connect with your face, man, I'm gonna knock you out. It's trouble if I actually.
My intention is to hurt you.
Exactly. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm gonna apply this rage somehow through my body, and you're gonna feel it.
It's getting pretty intense in here.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just testosterone on top of testosterone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel uncomfortable a little bit.
But the train. I actually love the training. The sparring is like it's kind of disorienting at first, but
getting hit in the face
is
a new thing.
Very disorienting thing.
And then I'm a typical girl. He came home with like a split lip one day, and I was like in a panic. I was like, "What are you doing? You can't be doing this." He's like, "I'm in a boxing film," and I was like, "I don't want you doing this. I don't know if I feel comfortable. I don't want you coming home with bruises on your face." So I turned into that typical girl. I can't even help it.
Yeah, that's pretty common and understandable. The thing that can get dangerous is if you go watch his training session. See, that's a bad idea in general.
I'm not going to be able to
because, well, it's not a matter of you. It's a matter of what's going to happen to the training session if you're watching. There's an interesting dynamic that goes on. Whereas if your girl is watching you train and you're starting to lose, you're not going to accept that.
You don't accept
You're not going to accept. So it quickly escalates to a fight. Like I've seen this so many times where guys will bring their girl to the gym for a sparring session. Things aren't going so well. It's a fight.
It turns into
like,
a fight.
Hey, you guys are fighting now. Like, you understand?
This is no longer a sport.
You're really fighting. Like any female in the scene is a dangerous step. Obviously, when it's an actual fight, that's a different story. You're fighting in general, but there's no surefire way to escalate a training session.
Exactly. See, but that's what I'm saying. And she's been asking like, babe, when I'm going to be able to come see you train, and I'm like, not yet, because I can't. And I know that because I can't look bad in front of her. Like I'll just bring out some other elements, and it'll piss the trainers off, and it'll turn into some other things.
The way to have good training in that is to remove your ego, you know, and be like, hey, I'm here to learn. So you have to trick yourself. Say, hey, that punch in the face, that was a lesson to move my head more.
Exactly. Right. Of course.
Whereas if your girl's here, it's like, no, what the fuck will you make me look bad?
Yeah, no.
It's on now.
My girl, man. Yeah, exactly.
So it changes. So let's go back to the nutrition a little bit.
Yeah.
I think, what do you see from the dance community in general as far as what are they doing to take care of themselves, and how do you think they could improve what they're doing to fuel their bodies and yourselves as well? It sounds like you guys have a decent handle, but what are the real challenges for you?
I think the real challenges come with time. Mm-hmm. I think for anyone though, not just dancers, but any athletes or any just human really, it's like we always find ourselves thinking it's really easy to get fast food. It's so convenient. It's so easy to grab a soda from the gas station, but that's really what's going to kill you out. I know for me personally, I was a huge Diet Dr. Pepper fan. Like, I'm telling you, I would drink like 12 cans a day up until about a year ago. But I was in a rehearsal actually for Dancing with the Stars one day, and I literally felt all of my muscles like contract, and I felt so much pain in my body because I had literally gone probably 3 or 4 days with no water. And so I felt my whole body like clam up, and I couldn't dance the rest of the day. I had to leave the rehearsal, couldn't even finish. So from that moment on, I haven't had soda since, and I haven't eaten any fast food or anything. But it took a lot of commitment because with time, like he says, that we always have to remind each other to eat. So that's why I would always go to Jack in the Box. I'd always go to Little Caesars and eat the entire pizza, like to myself. You know what I mean? And have a can of soda to chase it down.
With all the fast food that you had options for in LA, you're choosing Jack in the Box and Little Caesars.
Absolutely.
Awesome. The sirloin cheeseburger? Come on now.
You got In-N-Out and Carl's Jr.
I'm telling you, yeah. But see, you get your favorite items from every single menu. Because then I also got to remind you too is that like a dancer, like a dancer's schedule can be so crazy as far as call times. Like maybe you have a rehearsal over here, then you have to go tech over here to then go to the show over there. And between time, you know, you only have 20 minutes to get each place, but we're not going to have lunch for you guys today because this, da. So you go, okay, cool. Well, am I going to try to go stop by the grocery store and try to cook something, or am I going to grab something quick? And if it's grab something quick, it's like, well, what's over there? Burger King, Jack in the Box. You know, you just kind of got to
I hear
go
you.
through those
and I think
things.
there's a lot of people that are in that same boat.
Absolutely.
And really, that stuff. I mean, that Diet Dr. Pepper. Every one of those ingredients. Show me the plant that shit came from.
Right.
Yeah.
Show me what part of the earth that was grown in.
Exactly.
You know, the human body is not meant to tolerate and digest that stuff. You break everything out there. That's not food.
Yeah.
When
Right.
you look down that ingredient list, not food, not food, not food.
Exactly.
You know, and it has that caffeine, which triggers your adrenal glands to dump off some adrenaline, which will give you that energy. But eventually, that's going to dehydrate you even further too.
Right.
I feel so much better now that I haven't had soda, and I find that I have more energy in my days. But then also, I don't even need the caffeine like I used to. I used to be like, oh my God, in order to get through this rehearsal, I have to have a soda. And now I don't even get those.
Once you start giving your body the nutrients, you'll have more natural energy anyways.
Right. Yeah.
So you won't need to do that.
So I think that's it's the huge challenge. But I think with the dancers in the dance community right now, it's at a good half and half right now. There are half of the dancers that eat incredibly healthy. I mean, a lot of our friends put us on to a lot of the diets that we know now, you know. But then there's the other half that's they just kind of grab it and go whatever they can get, you know, things, and it works for the time,
right?
But in the long run, you know, it's to have good habits. Hopefully, it's
I think one of the keys for you guys, and especially with those long stretches of time, because it's not so much acute exertion, it's exertion over a long period of time. So the key things that you guys are going to need to focus on, I'm saying you guys and dancers in general, you know, something like the Hemp Force bar is going to be a real asset because that is completely comprised of food. You look at every one of those ingredients, that's a food. It's a nut, it's a seed, it's a grain. It's something that the body has been, you know, grown up and evolved alongside these nutrients and can utilize it. It's got the protein, which is going to be important. Whenever you're breaking down muscles, you need the amino acids in the proteins to refuel the muscles. Because that's really what protein is, you know, chains of amino acids. Hemp is a complete plant protein. So that's going to be able to, you don't need to supplement it with anything else. A lot of these other plant proteins are incomplete. Even other good ones like rice and pea, they're missing key amino acids. So that's why we chose hemp for that. So that's going to be a good protein source for on the go, mixed with the other food. But then also the fats and the oils. I think one of the huge misconceptions is that fat and oil, like you said, is bad. Now, you know, wise enough to know that grapeseed oil is good, but you guys are going to need to be taking more of that than you think, because the fat is actually one of the best fuel sources for the body, especially medium chain triglyceride fats, which are some of the best fats for you. We actually partnered with Bulletproof exec to come out with our own MCT oil, and but it's also in coconut oil too. That's why coconut oil is one of the best things for you, because that's going to actually give you that proper fuel to burn energy. It's a way better fuel source than sugar, you know, anything like that. So making sure you're keeping your fats up. And then the other thing I would add would be the Himalayan salt is going to be really crucial. Regular table salt has 3 minerals in it. It has sodium, chloride, and they sprinkle a little iodine in there because if they didn't have that iodine, people would be getting sick, because that's one of the only sources for iodine. Himalayan salt is sea salt that was deposited in those mountains millions of years ago. So it's extremely pure, and it has 84 trace minerals in it. So that's going to basically supply your body with the minerals, the rehydrating minerals that are going to support not only your muscles, but your adrenal system and everything else. I actually had a really dramatic experience with the salt recently. I was I've been under a lot of stress, been working out hard, and we have a highly filtered water at home because we want to take the fluoride out of our water, and we know that's bad. So we have this Kangen system that takes absolutely everything out of it. And it tastes good and stuff, but what I didn't realize is that I was not getting enough minerals in from regular salt. So I would go to sleep and I would hear my pulse in my ear. And it wasn't like going fast, like I was on too much caffeine, but I could hear it. It was pulse pressure. And so I talked to one of our doctors, Dr. Engel. He's like, try the Himalayan salt before bed. It's basically my adrenals were being starved of the minerals that they needed. So I started doing that, immediately leveled out. I stopped hearing my pulse pressure. It all went down. And my body's been much healthier and much more supported since.
That's awesome.
So the Himalayan salt is going to be a key thing. It's another one of those misconceptions. Salt is bad for you,
Exactly.
Yeah,
of course.
but it's not. Only the bad salt is bad for you. Only that table salt bullshit that people combine these supplements together. So
of course.
Good plant-based protein to go, or animal-based protein. We have those Tonka jerky bars, which is buffalo jerky.
Yes.
Yeah, those are good.
Delicious.
Yeah, so we're gonna be pushing more in that space, and then also the protein bars from the hemp forest, making sure you're getting enough oils, and there are good oils in that bar itself, but also adding some coconut oil to a shake, or having a half avocado, or bringing a handful of macadamia nuts. Macadamia nuts have a bunch of those good fats too.
Yeah.
So keeping enough fats, and then even if you're just sprinkling a little salt, we have these packets now. You can bring a packet, put it in some water, take that, and it'll start to refuel your muscles. And so putting that in your own body and then giving that out to the dance community, I think will make a huge impact. And then just stop eating stuff that's not food.
Yeah.
If you can't point to where it came from, it's not food.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't
And I
eat
think
it.
it's really important for us to tell the dancers that, especially with our crazy schedules, we have to plan ahead.
Absolutely.
It takes 10 minutes to plan out what you're going to eat that day.
Totally.
Bring the hemp bars with you, or bring the salt packets with you, or whatever it is that you need that day. Just put it in your dance bag. Take it with you to your rehearsal. And I think if we can get that message across, it'll really help and change people.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, even the nut butters, we have a lot of different options. There's some recipes for like a chia porridge in the morning, which is really good. Things that you can kind of bring. You put that in a container. It's basically chia and like almond milk and a little bit of raw honey and some vanilla and cinnamon. And it tastes awesome, but it's something that's chia's and one of those other natural foods has a good amount of protein, good amount of fat, and just little things like that you guys can eat along the way, because you are supreme athletes, and then in doing a pretty unique exertion where you have to be mentally focused and physically on your game and stretch it out over time. Yeah. So what have been some of your other experiences? I know, you've had a little bit of time with some of the Onnit stuff. What have you guys noticed and stuff that you've been taking so far?
I've actually taken the Alpha Brain when I've gone into the studio. I have problems sometimes focusing my energy. I come up with a lot of ideas, and then 10 minutes later I'll have a new idea. So I find myself really skidding around a lot of the time, So I've taken the Alpha Brain when I've gone into the studio to really help me focus and complete my mission while I'm there. And it's really, really helped me, to finish the project and get it done in the one setting.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'm actually big on the Alpha Brain and the Shroom Tech Sport. Man.
Hell yeah.
The Shroom Tech Sport is like my one, because I really enjoy. I can't stress enough how much I enjoy being active. You know what I mean? It's when it's time to work out, it's time to work out, and I'm in there sweating and going as hard as I can, throwing up a little bit and then coming back. You know what I mean? It's I'm one of those dudes. But with that, it's I'm not fooling myself, because what I used to do was I used to get super jacked on coffee, take a couple cups of coffee and be like, oh my gosh, I'm ready. But now what I find with the sport is, even if it doesn't have that initial kick of oh my gosh, over time it's a steady stream of energy that's kind of unwavering, which is nice, because with coffee or say I don't know, like a 5-hour energy shot or something like that, you get these bursts of energy and then these lows of no energy for a second, so I constantly have to keep going back. But with the Shroom Tech, it's pretty constant, throughout the entire day, which I find really, really nice.
Quite helpful. What I mean? Yeah, because you don't have to keep re-upping.
Absolutely.
You don't have that drop. And it's also way better for your system. We sell a really good, clean coffee, the Bulletproof coffee, which is nice. But you still got to consider that like a really harsh treatment. We're going to blast your body with caffeine. And I do it occasionally. This morning was one of those cases where I was on at 180. On at 180 and a big cup of coffee before I talked to Joey Diaz for his early morning podcast. But the Shroom Tech is going to really support your system with cellular energy the whole way. So that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, man.
So what would you guys say to anybody who's thinking about dance and thinking about at least experiencing a little bit more of what it has to offer? Maybe their curiosity's peaked. Maybe they're like, all right, I want to do a little bit more. What are some of the initial steps along that path?
I think with dance or with anything, really, do your research. You know what I mean? If you're going to go somewhere, if you're going to train, you have all the tools with technology. So look it up on YouTube. Look at whose class you're about to walk into, what style it is, and see what you like. And so you're not wasting your time when you get into that room. You're like shocked by something like, oh, I didn't even know I was going to be doing that. I didn't know I had to do that. I didn't know how to wear this. You know, so do your research, know what you're getting yourself into, and then you'll be way more successful, you know?
Yeah. And also with that, whether there be new students or just somebody that wants to have fun and just get a little cardio in and stuff like that, is something that I tell the students all the time. It's just cannonball in, man. Once you know what it is, just cannonball in there. Don't try to crescendo your way into it. Like if you're going to be 100% committed, you know what I mean. That's going to bring about the most results. Don't stick your toe in. Just jump in there and the most that's going to happen is you might mess up on the choreography a little bit, or you might, or I don't know what's going to happen. That gives you a story to tell. But if you, when you stick your toe in, you're holding yourself back and you're not really getting up on the full experience. Some classes are only 45 minutes to an hour. So if you're spending 10 or 15 minutes just trying to convince yourself to do it as the class is going on, once you finally get in there, it's going to be over before you know it. And I think that's with anything, with life. You know what I mean?
You have to go in with like a ton of energy. Yeah. Anywhere you go, you have to be fully there and aware of your surroundings. You know what I mean? You know those little people that like walk into a room and you just notice them? Yeah. That could be anyone. Right. It's just them deciding to live their lives that way. Right. You know what I mean? Walking into a room and being noticed and being seen and being heard. There's just those people that hold that, but that's not saying that not everyone can hold that quality. You know what I mean? It's just a commitment in yourself to stand out and be loud and with your expressions and your voice and everything.
Exactly. And dance is such a social thing. You know, it is. It's such a social thing. So with dance class, even though everybody's learning from one teacher and stuff like that, don't close yourself off as an individual. Just add to the energy of the room. Have fun. You know, it's just like a choreographed house party. You know.
Yeah. So, and use it as a release. I mean, so many people will go out to some place where, you know, there'll be dancing available, you know, at the big party, people cutting it up, dancing. And some people who just never dance the whole time.
Absolutely.
Like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Like, get out there, do something, mix it up. Yep. But then another commitment too is everybody who sees someone who's dancing their ass off, but they suck, don't tell them they suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an expression of themselves.
Yeah,
you know?
Like, see, and that's another. Yeah, and that's one of those things that kind of goes back to what we were talking about, like people just putting on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Putting on. It really speaks volumes of a person's character if you see somebody that is 100% having a good time, no matter what they look like. They're just having. You can tell that they're having a blast. They're not dancers, and they don't dance that often, but they feel so good that they're letting their body do whatever it wants to, literally whatever it wants to do. Yeah. And a person's like, oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Like, don't do that. That's terrible.
Don't do that.
You know what I mean? That speaks volumes about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. People, dancing is the highest form of expression, man. It is. It's a good time. Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you guys here on this podcast. We're going to have a little bonus time. Twitch, I'll be talking to you on the Warrior Poet podcast here for a little bit. We'll get a little deeper in maybe the spiritual side of dance. And then we have Whitney Miller who's going to take you, Allison, on the... stop it, guys. Easy. Easy. They're very much in love. That's another beautiful thing to see is how much in love you guys are. It's awesome to see. But yeah, we'll have some bonus time podcasts on the Women Against Mediocrity podcast with you, Allison, coming up here live as well. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be getting a lot more out from these guys. Steven, Twitch Boss, and Allison Holker. How can they get in touch with you guys on Twitter?
On Twitter, I'm official_Twitch.
And I am Allison Holker, spelled as is.
Spelled as your name is.
As is.
Right on. You guys got Facebooks and stuff too?
Facebook. We have Instagram. We have websites.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook with Steven Twitch Boss. And honestly, you type in Allison Holker, you'll find her too. Yeah, we didn't get too creative with the names.
It's not Dancer
5678,
surprisingly.
Yeah. Right, and exactly. what's the next thing that people can see you on? Just fans in general. What do you got? You got some? You're gonna be back on the show.
Back on the show. Yeah. So You Think You Can Dance? It just started their season 10 up. We'll both be back as all stars. I judged the Detroit auditions and the Vegas auditions. Some
talent?
Oh yeah, there's some talent. It's gonna be crazy this year.
And then so I'll be an all-star this season for season 10. And
Sick.
then also on VH1 they're coming out with a new scripted series called Hit the Floor. And so I'm acting and dancing on that whole series. It starts May 27th and it'll be going through the whole summer. So make sure you check it out.
Right on, right on. Well, thanks again, guys, and we'll be looking for more stuff coming by Onnit from all you guys. It's a real pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, take care.